So much selling pressure today. It was an absolute beautiful Thursday, but before we get started, we have to turn the light red. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and actually in this video, we're going to have a little bit of a different tone. Although markets did sell off, one of the biggest sell-offs that we've seen this year, again, I wanted to show you the bigger picture. Markets are still incredibly bullish on the larger time frame. I want to reiterate what I said in today's earlier video. If you want to short, be my guest, right? Especially if direction is in your favor. I'm still open to shorting in tomorrow's live trading session, but I know that I'm kind of optimistic about markets trying to recover because that's what they've done all of 2025. I do believe that we've kind of seen a shift of sentiment. There is more concern that's kind of beginning to present itself. So I talked about it in today's earlier video. And there's a few things that we can quickly highlight. $1 trillion in value was lost today. It sounds crazy, but again, it kind of comes with the territory when markets are so inflated and especially concentrated in such, AI-focused companies with insane market caps. So NASDAQ losses accelerate to negative 2.5% on the day, now set for the biggest daily decline since October 10th. NVIDIA alone lost $220 billion in market cap. With that being said, this is also one thing that I wanted to highlight. The median age of all U.S. home buyers currently is 59 years old. Back in 2010, so 15 years ago, it was about 20 years younger. So if you own a home out there, again, you're ahead of the curve. And if you're under the age of 59, congratulations. Sometimes it might feel like, when you compare yourself to others, you're not ahead of the curve. I kind of wanted to present this because, they often say that comparison is the thief of joy. And although markets are down and maybe some of you guys might be feeling down, remember, it's just an intraday move. It shouldn't really discourage you. It should more encourage you to not be leveraged. So when opportunities like this do present themselves, maybe you're actually able to buy into the dips instead of either get margin called or liquidated, depending on how leveraged it is that you are, if you know what I mean, right? That being said, that's kind of what I want to focus on for tomorrow, right? Because if we look at the overall NASDAQ market right now, from when I made the video to the lows that we continue to make, it's kind of retesting the same previous lows, acting as now a new high. And I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that, hey, maybe markets did sell off enough, just like they did last time, that maybe we can begin to recover. Or is it going to be the same thing like, 2 weeks ago, where markets sold off, they tested support, broke that support, and then produced another leg down. So based off of previous lows, we still have a previous support range at 600. Remember, we talked about this just a few days ago. Markets were showing signs of lower highs, possible weakness. They were irrationally trying to recover due to the idea of the government being reopened. But again, what good does that do when you don't have any data to support it, right? Everyone started to celebrate, but what are you celebrating for? The Federal Reserve is not going to cut rates when they don't have economic data to support a rate cut, right? So I'm optimistic. In tomorrow's live trading session, if you end up tuning on in, it's the second link in the description down below. I'm open to buying the dip and going long if, intraday price action supports it. But if everything is showing signs of weakness, if everything continues to either consolidate or show signs of lower lows and lower highs, I will have no other option than to continue to short. So I'm open to buying the dip. Shoot, I feel so bad for MSTR bag holders. I might buy a few shares down here just to help them out. Like, this stock is getting absolutely pummeled in just the past, 30, 40 days? Let me double check. In the past 120 days, my apologies, 120 days, it's lost 53%, almost 54% of its value. Again, these are the people that were trying to convince you to take out a mortgage and put all of your money into this Bitcoin treasury. It just doesn't make any sense. There's so many companies right now that are insanely overvalued that experience huge corrections because, again, there's a big disconnect between irrational valuations and what the companies are actually producing in value. And I think this is a great reminder. I hope that it kicks you into gear, not to be afraid of speculation, but to not do it in a stupid way. Like, that is the biggest takeaway out of all of this. If you think this is a pullback, or if you think this is a crash, this is nothing. This is just the pullback, and that's really all it is. That's why I don't want to necessarily kick you if you're down, because maybe this is the first downturn you've ever experienced. Unless you're an MSTR bag holder, then I'm okay with kind of kicking you while you're down. But other than that, like, I feel like you kind of almost need to experience moments like this where you might have been over leveraged at overbought levels. Everyone was telling you that, hey, maybe you should be a little bit more cash, or maybe you shouldn't be as leveraged just in case there is a pullback. And you're like, no, I'm all in. But it's like, what are you all in on? You're all in on a company that is pre-revenue, all in on a company that doesn't produce a profit. Then during uncertain moments, right? That's when those companies experience the hardest downturn. How long have we been expressing that? Oh, Ricky, but you've been saying that for a while. Yeah. And guess what? A lot of these companies have lost 50% of their value. They only have 100% to lose, right? Huge retracement, 37% here. And the list goes on. I mean, there's a handful of companies that are just getting absolutely destroyed. We got Irene with a super strong retracement. It's very unfortunate to see for those that are maybe experiencing it for the first time, that, could have taken and sold a few of their shares at those overbought levels, so they could have been more well-positioned in case moments like this do happen. You're actually able to take advantage of the dip, right? Like, think about this. I'm not a big fan of Irene. I don't like the company at all. I'm not a big fan of NBIS, but it's now oversold enough that I would consider trading it to go long. If markets begin to recover, it's likely that these stocks can possibly recover as well. And if price action supports the trade, how cool. Hey, maybe I can buy, MSTR at 210 per share, write it up to 233 and make more money than any bag holder has made in the past year, because all MSTR has been doing is selling off. It's all about just like being calculated with the trades that you take, not being hopeful, but actually being calculated. That is the part that I think really differentiates traders. Is you can be hopeful and you'll see how far that takes you. But when it comes down to actual trades, you want to be calculated, you want to be intentional, and you want to manage and mitigate risk, right? Making sure that every opportunity that you take yields greater upside than potential downside, or vice versa if you're shorting, right? Which is why, you guys know that I've been wanting the markets to sell off, but I'm not blindly optimistic, right? I'm self-aware that it's like, hey, they sold off enough that I might want to be careful continuing to short in case they do begin to recover, because markets have been so bullish in 2025. So I respect the trend, regardless of my personal belief or opinion. And that's what I wanted to share with you, right? There's a handful of, different data reports that are being released that just show like rent prices are declining at historic paces. A lot of uncertainty. StubHub reported earnings today and fell 20% after it reported. And of course, I have to throw this. Mom, how did we get so poor? I listened to Michael Saylor and Tom Lee and bought at BMNR and MSTR. I had to throw that dig in there. I thought it was too funny. Nonetheless, again, it's super, super important to know that during moments like this, it's very important to be cash. Even just not having a position at those overbought levels, now you're at least able to buy the dip if you see it to be as that, right? Also, I wanted to ask, we had a few comments of people asking, what is SQQQ? I think it's been some time since I made a video on it. And I'd love to make more kind of like videos on if markets do begin to retrace and you're not comfortable shorting because, it does come at a greater form of risk. What are some ways in which you can make money intraday? So SQQQ could be one of those options. And I wanted to see if you guys would like me to make more of a detailed video on what it is, how it works, and stuff like that. And if you do, then just let me know down in the comment section or just drop a thumbs up. So again, I'm very excited for tomorrow's live trading session with my LPP team. I work with them every single day, and I just wanted to invite you. If you feel lost in this chaotic market, if you feel like tuning on in every morning right at market open can give you a better sense of direction, then that is exactly what we are here for. It's designed for complete beginners. You get access to the A to Z video lesson library for LPP 3.0, and it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. So if you want access to it, second link in the description down below. You can sign up tonight and start watching me trade live as soon as tomorrow once the market opens. I appreciate your time, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team, and a happy Thursday.